everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live, as well as through our friends at Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, as well as on Instagram. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could be with us. We also are excited to be able to say that for those who join us via the podcast, we're glad you all could join us as well. We have a repeat guest that's with us today. You already recognize her, author Theresa Merritt-Watson. She's the author of this book we've been talking about called Black Tech. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We actually are wrapping up the last two inventors in her book, numbers 13 and 14. One of them you may be familiar with. I was just saying to her that I was not familiar with one of the ones we're going to be talking about today, as you probably have been throughout this series. We're going to be talking to Ms. Merritt-Watson not only about their contributions to the world, but also what she hopes you're able to learn about them as well. Ms. Merritt-Watson, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I really have been enjoying this episode. Thank you for having me.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I've been enjoying it as well. And I think the great thing is, Ms. Merritt-Watson, there have been so many people, myself included, who have learned so much from you thanks to this book, Black Tech. What has it been like for you to open people's eyes to not only the different inventions that have been done, but also the contributions that Black inventors have made that really are impacting the world?
Well, that was my goal, is to start letting us showcase the great things that we have done that have, impact. And I was concentrating, actually, when I wrote the book, on the things of the United States, in the U.S. But you're right, they have impacted the world, from the traffic light to the refrigerator. And I've enjoyed it, just knowing that someone that didn't know have learned something and can get a different perspective on the United States.
Right.
History is really important, but you can't exclude history. When you exclude someone's history, particularly on purpose, it becomes a major problem. So it's our job to get this information out there.
Yeah, such a great point, and it's such a great reminder, I think, for all of us. So for yourself, we've talked about this, and we're going to have a recap show. I want to let you guys know this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time, to be able to go through the entire series in a 30-minute segment with Merritt-Watson. She's been very gracious with her time to kind of go through some of the highlights. But for yourself, Ms. Merritt-Watson, what was it like for you to be able to do the research that led to the book Black Tech?
Well, actually, I enjoyed the research because I actually enjoy the opportunity to learn and to be able to share. And I learned quite a bit on when I was researching, because when you're researching, it's just not these 14 people. I got to learn about people that I didn't even know about. And so being able to narrow it down became a real problem, because there's some really profound information out there of things that we have done, and people just do not know. So yeah, it's been a really great time doing it.
Love that. Dr. Norma, good to be able to see you over there on the IG side. Knowledge, hello to you on the IG side as well. Glad you can be able to join us. So again, as I mentioned, we have gone through already 12 of the 14. We're going to go through the last two today. And again, as I mentioned, Ms. Merritt-Watson, the first individual we're going to be talking about today is probably the one I was the most familiar with out of everyone in your book. And again, I think, some people can relate to this, and that is Garrett Morgan. So the story part of the book says, when traveling to my school, Garrett Morgan's invention helps us to get there safely. It tells us when to slow down, stop, and go. And then you have Garrett Morgan depicted there in his invention being the traffic light. And I want to talk about this, Ms. Merritt-Watson, because this is a big one. The traffic light is a big one. Talk to us about the impact of Garrett Morgan on our lives.
Well, Garrett Morgan invention, you can go nowhere in the United States without knowing Garrett Morgan. And I want to people to sort of get this image in their head, particularly when their kids are in the car, their children are in the car. It's an opportunity to start showcasing Garrett Morgan did the traffic light. Garrett Morgan, when you're in Montana, there's traffic lights. When you're in Europe, there are traffic lights. When you're in India, there's traffic light. Might be a little few. Some places try to avoid traffic lights and give us a roundabout when we know we need a traffic light, right? But Garrett Morgan was a genuine inventor. He invented the traffic light, the gas mask. He invented the safety mask when the firemen go and they have a fire. He invented a whole body equipment, and so when the clean air is at the bottom, and so it's piped out that way. So when you see the mess, it's not just him creating the light. He was a true inventor. He was also a very true advocate. And so he was a member of the NAACP, which he's a seemed to appear to reading about him, a very quiet but get the job done type man. Um, so he have done quite a few things, and to get started, of course, a lot of these things have been utilized throughout the world that he has invented. So you
Right.
can go in, and I encourage the kids, the students to go in, and the parents to go in and look at the many patents that Garrett Morgan has. Um, he was an outstanding man.
And Ms. Merritt-Watson, again, going with our theme, we've been saying another self-taught engineer, which seems remarkable
Well,
considering what he's been able to do. Talk to us about what that was like for you to see.
actually, I purposely wanted people to see that everyone is not going to go to college, and everyone do not need to go to college.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted people to see, is you can do a mindset, or you can brainwash someone to think that, if you don't have a college degree, then, you can only get but this far. But some of these people have gotten so far and have had such a profound impact. And there's a lot of people, apprenticeships, training, exposure, that has worked very well for many people. And once again, like you said, Garrett Morgan is one of those people that's a self-taught engineer, and he too had been learning these things as a child. Um, and so I'm not. What I will say is that I want our people to know that that is a great option for them, but it also requires planning. It also requires preparation. It also requires someone to nurture some of the things that our kids have, and so that they can be a Garrett Morgan or Lewis Latimer. Um, but those things were nurtured. If you would notice and go and read the history of these individuals that are self-taught, you will see that those things have been nurtured and encouraged. And so that's some of the elements that we are missing in our community, is and in our school, is nurturing the kids' interest and the kids' passion, and they can become a Garrett Morgan.
So true. Hello to you, Dr. Velma. Glad you could join us on the West Coast. She says hello to you as well, Ms. Merritt-Watson. Also, we have Norma McLaughlin on IG, says, love this. Taking grands on field trip to count the number we see while traveling. They will say his name at each sighting. I love that, Norma. Thank you for sharing that. And it is that inculcating it in children in ways like Dr. Norma was talking about. Hello to you. Melissa, going to be to see you on the Facebook side. Is that kind of what you hoped would happen, Ms. Merritt
Yes.
Watson, as people learned about these individuals?
Yes, that is what I hope will happen. I know that you don't go to the elevator and say, "Oh, Alexandria Mile." It's just not a custom. But since we're so far behind in what we do, or what our contribution have been, it is going to become necessary for us to do something that is different. And
Mm-hmm.
that is when we walk up the elevator and it opened. Oh, Alexander Miles. So I, I know it's a little extreme, but I if I had little kids or grandkids or what have you, that would be one of the things that I would just make sure that the kids is embedded in my children, so they can see their greatness. The
Yeah,
ancestors have left us with some great tools, um, that we just don't nurture like we should. So
yeah,
we have to do the extra things. And if you could take a look, it's not often that you go in school and they just repeating these things and you're utilizing them, and you're reshaping, and helps reshape shape your mind in a particular way, because it takes on a sense of pride.
yeah.
I Those are some of the things that I really really hope happen in
Mm-hmm.
this whole process. And That's why I really want to get out there to be able to make sure that we can incorporate the history and the passion and interest of our children into our education in a way that the kids feel connected.
Right.
This is what I think I see with some of these.
Love that. Melissa, hello to you on the IG side as well. We have one more to discuss, our 14th inventor, Miss Merritt Watson. And this is one I had no idea about. Janet E. Bashan. And the writing part of the book says, when my parents use their computer for job opportunities and claims tracking, they can thank Janet Bashan for her invention that lets them do things faster and easier. So her invention was the web-based software solution, the first Black woman to receive a patent for web-based software solution. Break that down for us, Ms. Merritt Watson, about her contribution.
Well, actually, when you go online and you complete an application, that is what she have done. She did. She started out working this in the HR environment, but she holds it. First of all, we got to give the lady kudos for being the first African American woman to hold a patent in this, and this has made our life a lot simpler. You know that when you go online and you complete an application, that is Janice Basin. So that is it was improved. It improved the management skills. The collecting of the data, tracking was the main purpose of the one of the main purpose of this software. And so, back in the day, you had to accumulate, the number of application and this, and the reporting that came out of that allowed her software, but allowed her to be one of the most popular people in this industry at the time, because we had no real electronic tracking mechanism. And so now with her application process, you can retrieve at particular information for each one of the qualifiers that she had. And so that the reporting was what we get from her application.
Love that. Love that. So again, and this is someone who, now, she attended the University of Houston in Houston, Texas. And one thing you and I were talking about before we went live here, she's someone who's still alive, and I have to say, relatively young as well, Ms. Merritt Watson.
Yes, she is. She is, and she has a company in Houston, and she's from Alabama, which appeared to me that she does spend a lot of time between the two places. And I am intending to meet with her.
Love that. Love that.
So
Dr. Belma says, love that idea about working with the kids. And she's also said, love the elevator idea. Felicia, hello to you on the Facebook side. She says, love the graphics. Hello from Jackson, Mississippi. So let's talk about the graphics. What was it like for you? It's one thing for you to write the story, Ms. Merritt Watson. What was it like for you to see the graphics come together to tell the story?
well, the graphic actually took a long time. Since art is not I know what I like and I know what I appreciate. So that it took longer to do the graphics than it did anything else in the book. Uh, so I am happy with the outcome. Um, the outcome, and it just I will tell people, if you're writing a book, if you're writing a children book, you got to be able to have it be captivating to not just the children, but also to other people that may be reading it, conveying the book, because every child can't read, but you got to be able to keep, like my book is read to some 2-year-olds, and I was surprised to be able to see that it still was able to captivate them as well. So that artwork, if you're working with an artist, you got to be able to say, I don't really connect with that, or I really like this, and either in my case, I drew what I wanted conceptually, and I had a car here, a light here, and Garrett Morgan standing there. It took, you got to be able to convey what you want and how you want it, even if, so it was the hardest part of the whole book, actually.
Yeah. Felicia says vibrant colors grabs attention. Dr. Velma says, wow, she's still alive. Beautiful. This book is great. Thank you for that, Dr. Velma. I want to let you guys know while I'm in Atlanta on Thursday, this coming up Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. That's 9 a.m. Dr. Velma for you on the West Coast. Theresa Merritt-Watson will be joining me once again here on Amazon Live while I'm in Atlanta to talk about the entire book. We have a 30-minute live segment I'm doing live from Atlanta, Georgia. She'll be joining me here on Amazon to talk about the book. If everything works out, Dr. Miss Merritt-Watson and I are going to be meeting together in person before I leave Atlanta as well. She's going to be in Atlanta as well. We didn't plan that. Just so happened our traveling kind of overlapped each other, so I'm excited about that. But the book is available through our friends here at Amazon.com. During our segment on Thursday, we're going to let you guys know about Miss Merritt-Watson's website, where you can also be able to get more information there as well. Miss Merritt-Watson, I want to say as we wrap up this series, even though we have our recap coming up Thursday, I really appreciate you so much and what you've done with this book. It's been great working with Double Exposure Media Relations and you on sharing this book with the world. And I'm definitely looking forward to our next conversation together.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed being here, and I've enjoyed your listeners, and I'm looking forward to people just taking it out and just reconnecting our community and other people, just showcasing the great things that we have done.
Love that. I want to say hello to Loose Screws Gang on IG. And Dr. Norma says on IG, thanks for sharing this. I'm excited to introduce to the students at our academy. And Dr. Norma, if I can help in any way, make sure you let me know. The Makita Method, hello. Hey, Makita, good to be to see you over on YouTube as well. And Felicia says, how awesome, get us autographed copies. Look, I'm getting mine autographed, Felicia. I'm getting mine autographed. So I have to work together to get yours autographed too. Again, Ms. Merritt-Watson, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to our recap on Thursday and meeting you on Friday.
Oh, thank you. I'll look forward to it. Thank you so much.
More than welcome. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning into this episode of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.